Hello friends and enemies, it's me Isabel here. Really excited for today's video. I'm going to be talking to you about my breaking case of emergency books. So you know, like break glass in case of emergency, right? We all know this reference? Okay. I have these written down as like the I want to read these, but they're kind of my like I want to save these because if one day I'm just in such a place that I need a book that I know is more than likely going to be really good and I'm really going to enjoy, I will read one of these. I have 8 books picked out for this list. Some of these have been on the list for a long time and I have really good reasonings as to why. Some of these are just newer authors I've enjoyed a lot and I want to have like a couple of their books just in my back pocket for the day I have a slump or a day I'm just not sure what I want to read, you know? Like it's such a, this is such a personal thing too, if that makes sense, because like I feel like everyone's breaking case of emergency books are going to be like very different and a lot of people reread and I'm not a big rereader. So these books for me are ones that I've just kind of like stocked away and told myself that like when I'm having a real bad day, this might be one of the books I pull out. And if I'm in a real bad reading slump, we're gonna go here because there's pretty high likelihood I will love this book. Let's dive into this list and talk about the books on here and why they're on here. So first of all, we're gonna start with the big one that I feel like is probably not a surprise if you know me and you know one of my favorite authors, which is the Rule of Scoundrels series by Sarah MacLean. I have not read this series by her. I've actually not finished her Love by Numbers, but I'm gonna be finishing that sooner than later. This is the series by Sarah that I like have put back. It is my like, I need a fix and I'm gonna read this. I just, like with Sarah especially, and this is no ill will in this statement. Like, I mean this with love. I love that she only puts out 1 book a year, but I also hate that she only puts out 1 book a year because I would read so many books by her otherwise. But the Rule of Scoundrels is one that I'm like, I'm gonna hold this. This is a really bad day. We start this series book. This is a like, you know, I need a historical and like none of them are working for me. I'm gonna pick these up because Sarah MacLean's historicals always work for me and that is part of the reason why I have them on this list. Next is another, we actually have 4 historicals on this list. So that's wild, and it's 9 books, not 8. I was wrong. Next we have Indigo by Beverly Jenkins. So I've been working my way slowly through Beverly's backlist and I just kind of want to set this one off to the side because it is her debut and I think it's such a special book and I just don't, I want to read it, but I also want to have it for that rainy day. Like something about Indigo to me like speaks to me in a way that I'm like, I want to put this off a little bit until I'm in a really just bad spot because again, Beverly Jenkins is another author that for me, like all of these authors on this list, delivers in a way that I really need from a book. So holding off on it doesn't feel terrible, but also like I want to read it, but I'm also like, no, let's save it forever. Because it just feels like such a monumental book in romance history also. Like I think that's part of my putting it off as well. Like not that I don't think I'm gonna like it, but because it's such a big part of romance history. Another historical, we're just gonna do the 4 historicals first, is Tessa Dares' The Wallflower Wager. I have not read. I refuse to read because we currently don't have like a firm date for the bride bet and I just, what if those are her last 2 books? Look, I'm not saying this is the case, but like in my brain it is like, what if those are her last 2 books ever and you've read like almost everything else by her? Let's just put it off to the side. We're just gonna put it over there and at some point we will read it, but it doesn't have to be now. I do still have Spindle Cove to read and things like that from her, but like y'all, if the bride bet never comes, I just won't ever read The Wallflower Wager. That's not true. I probably will, but then I will like put the bride bet off to the side. So like it's gonna get rotated out, but like she's definitely one again where I'm just like, I really love your books when I'm in a certain mood, when I'm in a certain spot in life and things and seasons happening. Tessa Dares is like a wonderful author for me to read along with Sarah and Beverly, where like I know what I'm getting and it's delightfulness, and that is what I want out of these books that I've selected more than anything. All right, and then the last one that is historical on this list is Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas. This is a beloved Lisa Kleypas and this is in part on this list because I am terrified to read it and hate it, but I'm also just like not prepared for the emotional journey this book takes. But I also feel like when I'm in that right spot, it is the perfect book for that moment. I have not finished Lisa Kleypas's Backlist because it's massive, but I'm in the Ravenels right now, and I really like that series, and I just was like, man, I think Mine Till Midnight is the one that I need to like set aside for a future date, and that is why. Again, this is one that everything I've heard about it sounds so good, and there's like 2 romances in it. Like there's the main romance and there's like a background story as well, and I really love that. So we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait until we've read more Lisa Kleypas and or are in that spot that it is like time to dive in. Next we have another, like, I feel like booktube beloved author, which is Kennedy Ryan. So I talk about this on my channel often. I love Kennedy Ryan. I adore her. I've met her in person multiple times, been to panels she's on. She's just an absolute delight. And I love her books, but they are so emotional that for me, the kind of person I am, they're too much. I can't do a lot of them in a row. I can't read them constantly. I can't they're not it for me when it comes to that. Like I can't like marathon Kennedy Ryan. I read like 1 or 2 a year. I haven't even read my one this year. I'm probably gonna read the Kingmakers duet this year. We're like literally, no joke, I read 1 a year from her. This year may be the exception with 2 because I'll probably want to finish that duet. But like I'm literally like, okay, we're gonna read this. Okay, we are done. That was enough emotions for me. So for right now, the Kennedy Ryan in particular that I am like keeping to the side is Real. I'm just not emotionally prepared for that book at all, but we're gonna start with the Kingmakers this year. And we'll see when we get to Real if it happens, but it is one that I'm just like so excited for, and I think sounds so up my alley that I'm just okay waiting a little bit to read it. Also, I haven't even finished like the Hoop series because just like, again, I'm just not an emotions person when it comes to my romances. I mean, I like emotions, I like to swoon, but like Kennedy Ryan is like a gut punch of a book every time. And I love how well she does it, but it's not for me. It's just not for me regularly. I really gotta be in the right mindset. I've joked about doing a video where I read books that make me cry, so we can time that with the right cycle of the month, and I can read books that'll make me cry if y'all want that. Just let me know in the comments. We can maybe make that happen in November. All right, next we have a big series, which is the Beyond series by Kit Rocha. This is by a duo author pen name. This, for me, I've read like the first 2 books in this series, and these books have one of the most spectacular found families that I have ever read. And I love the like merge of dystopian and kink and just all these things into one book that every time I go to read more of them, I stop because I'm like, the series is done. And when I'm done, I'm done. And I don't reread very often. I've reread Immortals After Dark once now, 1 time. Like, I might reread it again in a few years, but like I don't reread. So I'm like hesitant to finish the series. I want to finish it and I love what I've read of it, and I want to see the rest of the couples come together and the thruples and all the pairings. But like for me, I'm also like, man, this is a series when I'm just like, I need to marathon the best found family. That this is it. Like the Beyond series is the series for me then. So yeah, those have just been chilling on my Kindle for ages, and I'm very torn, y'all. Very torn on like finishing that series or letting it sit forever and just staring at it longingly at times. Slash not picking it up until I'm in like just that perfect crunch of like, I need this. Next we have Saint by Sierra Simone. So this may seem weird, but I love Sierra Simone's writing. I love her Sinner and Priest series, those first 2 books in that series, and Saint sounds amazing. It's a road trip romance with like a monk, and it's super steamy. It is a male-male romance, and I put it off on my like breaking case of glass because I'm kind of at the point with Sierra Simone where like I'm keeping up pretty much with most of her new releases, and like I've got a couple novellas I think she's come out with that I haven't read, but like I don't want to not have a Sierra Simone to read, and like the other series by her I've not enjoyed as much, so like I haven't read all of it. I may at some point go back to Thorn Chapel and some of those, but either way, I know I love this series, and I know that I'm going to more than likely love Sinner. So I'm just kind of like letting it sit and like stew for a bit until I'm at a point where, again, it is the perfect book series for me to pick up. Next, we have our last romance on the list, and that is the Off the Grid series by Alyssa Cole. So I don't know if a lot of people know about this. She's a dystopian series. The reason I haven't picked this up, no joke, is because I just was like, the idea of not having any more Alyssa Cole that I love is heartbreaking. And I've only got a couple left in her Civil War series, which I cannot remember the title of, but I've read like one or two of those, and I want to finish that series. But this series, I was like, you know, I've not started this. It's like 3 books. It would be perfect when I just like need an Alyssa Cole fix. And I think that they will work well for me. I hope they do, because I know her newer stuff has not been working well for me. But that's a me thing. I think there's a mix of us who have liked it and not liked it. So I personally have held these off because I just thought, you know, I love a dystopian. I came into my romance reading during that dystopian paranormal era, and I think that I would enjoy these. So, I mean, it's Alyssa Cole, I probably will. I just felt like they were a good series for me to shelve, because I feel like I would be missing out more if I didn't read some of her other series as they come out. All right, and last is a very surprise pick probably for y'all. And that is A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I am saving this for when I hit that like sci-fi mood. So this will probably get read sooner than later, but because of how much I loved A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, I decided I have to read the series at some point, but like I also want to hold the series to the side and like pick it up when I'm in the perfect mood for sci-fi books. Who knows, maybe you'll get a vlog one week where I just read a bunch of sci-fi books, because that's what mood struck me. You know, as a mood reader, this is, you know, something that happens, right? Where I'm just like, I want to read this thing. So perhaps that will happen. I don't know. For me, I loved Becky's writing so much in A Psalm for the Wild Built. That book, that is a book I will reread, but it's also like a very short book, so it's different for me to reread it, I feel like, and revisit it, because that one for me is just, I don't know, I felt so many emotions. There were so many things in that book about religion and beliefs and culture and just how things are, and I filled my heart up, big time, filled my heart up, y'all. So I will definitely read this at some point, probably sooner than later, and it will get swapped for another title. But that is my 9 break in case of emergency books. If there's one you think I should break sooner than later, let me know in the comments. And if you don't want to do that, please let me know if you have any books that you keep in the back of your head that you're like, yeah, I'm just putting that off. You know, it can be kind of desert island-y books, but also they can be books that you're just like, I'm really excited for this, but I don't want to read it because I want to have this book by this author to read in 5 years or 10 years or whatever the case may be. Let me know in the comments, because I think it's a really interesting concept. I know I'm not the only one who does this, but like I also know that I feel like it's not as common in the romance community always. So yeah, let me know what books are in your break in case of emergency glass, like what you gotta break the hammer for. If you don't want to do that, leave me a little hammer emoji, because you know we gotta break the glass with a hammer. And I have links to all these books in that description box for you, as well as links to be my friend anywhere on the internet, and I will talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye!
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.